Hey, greetings everyone. Let's see, I'm just trying to scoot in. I was just doing something with the laser cutter right now. I'm trying to get back with an older project that I left out for a while. Been too busy to go and do some of these older projects, and I don't really want to just leave them in limbo and forget about them, and then a year passes and nothing has happened. And then they become just old stuff. So I've been trying to, do a whole bunch of things. Okay, first thing is orders going out. I got to make a mail run today. Currently getting the labels for the shipping printed and stuff like that. If there's nothing in your email, during the day, it'll be, you'll get your tracking number and stuff like that in your email tonight. And so anyways, with that said, I've been also working with the VSS. I am trying to find better materials to work with, less expensive materials. So I hit Walmart recently, and I'm going to try to laser cut these foam boards and see if I can do like the large floor layouts. And of course, it's kind of papery with foam sandwiched in there. So this will be a test. Even what I do with the wood structures, I usually have a layer of styrene on the top and on the bottom, but definitely on the top, because styrene being more plasticky, it looks better when you paint it and when you put figures, and it's more durable. With the rest of the material, the 3D printed beams and things like that will add strength to this material. So even though this is foam board, I'm about to sneeze. Left over from the laser cutter. Laser cutter does some burning. So anyway, even though this is a foam board, it's and it's kind of weak. When you put the beams on there, it's going to add strength. And so plus the size of the floors will be just 10 inches by 10 inches. So that's not going to be very, very large, that you'll have a strength issue. It'll be smaller. And so it'll be easier to strengthen and protect. Alexa, convert 10 inches to millimeters.
10 inches is 254 millimeters.
So 254 millimeters. So this is one material I'm going to do a test with. I am getting ready to do that. I don't think I'm going to do it today, but I'm getting ready to do that. I am researching a little bit, like, for example, what type of toxic gases are produced when burning the interior foam. And let's see. So let me move this out of the way. Other materials I am experimenting with are these. I picked up 2 sizes of these canvas boards that you get in the paint section, mostly because they're close to 3 millimeters thick, which is the settings that I already use for the wood. Same type of project for floor type stuff, and so it's 9 by 12, a little bit smaller than the 10 inches. That might be a bit of an issue. So I'm not sure about using these small ones, but I got these anyway in case something does develop, maybe like, for example, a wall rather than a floor. And so that's the reason why I picked up these. These are mostly very dense cardboard, and it has canvas material, although it doesn't feel like it, but it's probably like just a paper surface with some gesso maybe on it. So in any case, I should hold paint well, huh? So so I'm going to experiment with this. So I got it mostly because I'm trying to find a better alternative than just using wood, because wood gets heavy. Now this is not light either, but so at the end of the day I'll compare and see which is the winner. The other thing too is that I'm trying to find a material that cuts with less effort. See, what happens with the laser cutters is that the older the laser cutter gets, the gas inside the tube leaks out, and there's really nothing you can really do about it. It's going to leak out whether you buy a brand new machine or it just sits in your workshop, whether you're using it or not. It's going to leak. It has a shelf life, and different size tubes have different length of time that the gases will remain enough that you can actually use the machines before you start noticing a performance loss. And so with the machines I have, the Glowforge is the older machine, and that one is suffering a performance loss. And it's kind of expensive to ship the whole machine back to the Glowforge company for them to replace the tube. And to top it off is that they won't send you your original machine back. You'll get a refurbished machine. So I truly want my own machine that I bought brand new, returned to me, not someone else's machine that's been repaired. Especially if it's just for a laser tube issue. I'm gonna sneeze. So the other 2 machines I have are they're from a brand called Flux, and it's the BMO and the Beambox. The Beambox being the bigger machine. So the BMO will handle this size stuff pretty easy, and it's the newer machine, and it cuts really well. And but even with something like the larger version, the Beambox, that one I use it with wood. It's now taking over all the functions that the Glowforge was being used for. And there's other things that are breaking on the Glowforge. It's a really nice machine. It looks really good, looks really polished. But I don't want to say it's cheaply made. Okay, it's not that. Okay, I don't want to give that impression. But there are areas where they use glue, and especially for the lid. It's a glass lid, nice and heavy, looks really good, but it's glued onto parts underneath, and that glue tends to separate as it gets, I guess, as it gets older. And so the little handle, it's glued to the glass underneath. The glass itself is glued on the front and back. So what's happening with me is that the glue is beginning to separate from the glass, and only part of the glue in the back is still there. So if I lift up the lid, to access the stuff on the inside, if I lift it up too much, it's going to break the lid off of the where it's glued. So I'm looking into other things for myself. Like, for example, did I just apply super glue, epoxy, some sort of the same type of glue that they use for mounting the rear view mirrors to your windshield? I don't know, but it's an expensive machine to send back, and so I'm looking into other options, such as other machines, and other machines tend to be cheaper to maintain than the Glowforge. For example, these the Beambox, the BMO, they are less expensive machines, less expensive to maintain. They are heavy machines. They're like steel body. They're not plastic body. The Glowforge has a plastic body for the most part. They don't use glass. They have for the lid, they just use an acrylic sheet, whereas the Glowforge uses glass. So there's some different approaches in the aesthetics. The Glowforge looks really polished. It's got really easy software. But in terms of long life, you're going to maintain the machines just like you do with a 3D printer. And things wear and tear, and things break down, things get out of alignment. All that is easier to do with these other machines, such as the Beambox, because the Glowforge, things get out of alignment. They want you to send the machine back. Almost everything, they want you to send the machine back. So there's only a few things that you can maintain, such as cleaning the lenses, cleaning the mirrors, things like that. And even there, it gets kind of iffy because it's not really a machine designed for being maintained by the owner. Whereas these other machines, the Beambox, the BMO by Flux, Taiwanese company, it's easier to access. There's panels that you can just simply unscrew and access inside. You can access just about every aspect of fans for cleaning. I still don't know how to clean the main exhaust fan on the Glowforge. I've seen pictures, I've seen photos where people have access to the machine, to the fan for cleaning, and they take a photo of it. But I'm not quite sure how you get there without disassembling a lot of stuff on the inside. So I have to really do some more research on that. But these other machines are easier to maintain. So anyways, with that said, there's a shelf life with the laser tubes. And so with the wood that I like to use, it's plywood. And you know how it is with plywood. There's layers of glue that's in between the wood. And so what happens is that the laser comes across pockets of this glue that is thicker in some areas and thinner in the others. So the thin areas, of course, they cut really well, but the thicker areas tend to flare up. So you get some burn, scorch marks, and sometimes the laser doesn't go all the way through. Now, as the laser gets weaker, as the gas inside leaks out, takes about 2 years, 2.5 years, depending on the size of the tube. You'll have you'll start noticing that you'll have to increase the strength of the laser to cut the same thing that you used to cut, and then after a while you have to start to do a combination of increasing the strength and decreasing the speed. So it takes longer to cut over areas. And after a while, the gas is still leaking. So you end up having to go over certain areas multiple times. And then it becomes an issue of, a laser cut job could take 30 minutes. And then you end up having to repeat it. So that's an hour. And then sometimes you end up having to repeat it 3-4 times because the laser, it's just losing its strength. So a 30 minutes job is going to take, an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's not beyond reality to say that, because it happens. And there's really no point in storing up a brand new tube when you purchase the machine, because sitting on the shelf, the gas is still going to be leaking from the tube anyway. And that's the other thing that I should mention, is that when you buy a laser cutter, there's you don't know how long your machine has been sitting in a company's warehouse. It may not be the company that you bought the machine from. Okay, for example, a lot of these companies, they have to buy the laser tube from another company that makes the laser tube or distributes those laser tubes. And so those tubes might be sitting in the warehouse in the back for several months before they get used. So, maybe 2 months passes and they, get shipped out to the company that makes the laser machines. And, so maybe 3 months passes. So you have a 3-month-old tube already, maybe more. So that's something to consider. Those laser tubes do have a shelf life, whether you use it or not. And if you use the machine a lot, normal, makes no difference. But if you use the machine a lot and you really put a lot of power in there, and in other words, if you use the machine hard, it's going to cut down on the lifespan of the tube also. So there's many factors to consider when you're doing with a laser machine. So I'm looking for alternatives when it comes to cutting. So I'm thinking that the dense cardboard may cut easier. I'm hoping. May cut easier, maybe a little bit more consistent, because I'm thinking it doesn't have the patches of glue like plywood would have. And although I'm not quite sure how they do this dense cardboard, maybe it's like a particle board type of process where they, I don't know, I'm just guessing, maybe they spray cardboard fibers mixed in with some sort of resin, and it goes through a process where it's pressed with the resin and everything, and then so maybe it's a combination of cardboard and a type of glue. I really don't know how it's done, but anyway, I'm going to test it out and see. And of course, I got bigger size too. So this is going to go into the beam box. There's 2 sets, 3 and 3. So we'll see how these things go. They're kind of heavy after a while, so it's just like dealing with wood. And of course, if you think of it, paper, where they get paper from, chances are it's going to be wood, from a tree, unless it's bamboo, and which is a grass. Now let's see. I just got this acrylic out of the machine right now, and I'm going to take this off. It comes with a paper. So what I'm doing is that I'm experimenting with the acrylics, trying to use a magnet underneath. And I don't want the acrylics too thick, because then it's going to make the magnets less effective. So let's see, got some magnets right here. So let's see, I got a piece. So let's say this one's got a magnet inside. It's got a little bit of a PLA separating the magnet. So I put this here with okay. So this magnet's not too bad. Look at that. So it's going to provide some strength. This is part of the chessboard that I was working on maybe about a year ago, before I got real serious with Joe Fest. So I'm trying to get an idea like how strong are these magnets with this piece, because I'm trying to make a Star Trek style chessboard. So I'm experimenting as I go along. If I have a whole bunch of pieces on the board and you're playing with making a move, is it gonna be too strong that it's going to cause the other pieces to, well, they'll have magnets, so they'll stay on, but will the whole chess set move around? I don't know. But let's see, let's compare that with what I have here. You can see I'm trying different acrylics. I got acrylics with tiles. So I have a magnet, just one already there. Okay. Yeah. So let's see. Now this one has, I don't remember the thickness of the acrylic, 3/16 maybe? I don't remember. So it's very weak. It's enough that the piece won't fall, but it is very weak. So when you're playing the game, it's going to just stick it on. Now the other thing is that I got these little stickers. They have like felt. I haven't applied it yet because I'm still designing the knight for these, and then I want to laser cut same diameter circle, and so that has a thickness also. That's going to influence the magnet. So I'm wondering if I leave this acrylic on, it is kind of a weak connection. If I put the fabric, the felt sticker on there, is it going to be even less? Well, of course it will be less, but how less? I don't know. So let's see. What I want to do here is I just want to remove the top acrylic. Nothing is glued or anything like that, so it's going to be kind of tricky. You know what I'm going to have to do? Upside down like this. By the way, let me see if there's any comments. Okay. Look at that, it's coming out already. You know what I'll do here. Well, let's see what I'll do. I'm going to have to to re-put this, but maybe I'll just move things around. Okay. Move this piece out of the way. I wanted to see how it looks with some frosted acrylic. And I'm thinking of putting some sort of pattern, circuit board pattern, on a larger square cut. And it looks kind of good to have it slightly frosted. So I'm going to go with the frosted look. Oh, I can remove this. Yeah, look at that. Oh, I forgot something. Yeah, I don't want it to fall. I got to remove the other paper off of this. So if y'all have been following, I need to get back to working with this printer behind me. It's I need a tool that goes into this heater block there and kind of skips the how to say the wires back here with the sensor. So I got this thing. It's adjustable. It's all aluminum, but all I want is to stop that heater block from twisting as I loosen the nozzle underneath. You know, as I move that nozzle, it's going to move that heater block. So I just want something that's just going to prevent it from moving as I. So it doesn't need to clamp down hard. It just needs to prevent movement. So I'm going to get back to that soon because I need that machine working. And I'm trying to take advantage of the plastic, the black plastic in these machines, especially this one. So I haven't printed anything with my standard gray yet. But once this machine is up and working again, I got a few other items to do in black. Not too many now because that one's been taking the load. And then I'll switch it to gray. And then these machines are going to be on a lot. Okay. So let's see. And that reminds me also. So that other little machine I was working on, I replaced the fan. And the fan works. But it doesn't turn on. And the reason is because the printer has a setting that when it gets hot, to turn on the fan. But the nozzle is not getting hot. So what it is that I don't have a fan problem. That the fan that was there probably worked fine. The problem most likely is the thermistor that's inside the heater block. Look at that. So the thermistor is the actual heating element that gets hot in these in the heater block. So you put the thermistor. That's where all the power comes from the power supply. It makes the thermistor hot, and then the excess heat gets pushed off into the heater block, and that heats everything else up. Okay, let's see. You know what I should do? I should just put it right here. You know, the tricky thing is, I hope everything is precisely cut. Is it going to be enough? Well, you know what? I don't need to be so precise right now. All I need to do is test the magnet. Okay, so that's one. Just clamp it on there. 2. Ew, it's going to fall. Ah. You know, it wants to come out. So. 3. I have another black binder clip, small one. I do, but not next to me. So. No, I don't see anything over there. Okay, so let's see. Just gonna put this there. This one here. And this one here. I'll put the big one right here. Still wants to come out, so I have to be careful. Okay, so I have the thinner acrylic on top. Well, this kind of defeats. Okay, gotta do it again because you know the polarity is backwards. Yeah. Okay, so do it over. Okay, lift up the acrylic. Take this. Okay, now it's right. So small little neodymium magnet. Okay, that's going to be a big thing. We have to get that right. Okay, that goes there. Just put it on. Okay. Let's get the big one. Right smack in the middle. So why am I doing the chest set? Well, because sometimes to avoid burnout, you got to sometimes do something different. So you're not doing the same things over and over and over. And in my case, there's a lot of 3D printing that is repetitious. And when it comes to design, well, even though I'm designing new things or stuff like that, you're still dealing with the same type of motions, I suppose. So sometimes you want something a little bit different. You're still thinking the same train of thought. It's a prop. It has to look sci-fi, and then so you want something different from time to time to kind of keep yourself from experiencing burnout. So this is not bad. Look at that. Okay. Now, of course, what time is it? I gotta head out soon, but like I said, I'm gonna make it to the post office and do a mailbox run with those orders. So okay, so this works decently. So you can see it here. It's very glossy, shiny and all that, but very reflective. It's not gonna look bad. The next step would be to print a frame that goes all around. because it's going to need three. This is the main level. It's going to have three main levels: 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be staggered. And there's something called a battle level or confrontation level, which is a small 2x2 square piece that fits at the corner. Usually you'll see something sticking up from the corner. So I'm thinking of when I 3D print a frame that goes all around, instead of having the battle board or battle section at the corners, I was thinking, well, what if I were to make something that fits a little bit better on the side? So I'm looking into that, but I was thinking with magnets, so you can just remove it rather than a hole. That's how it kind of looks. And I was thinking, well, if I do a hole, I would probably want it with a hexagon, so it doesn't, just turn. It stays, straight. And the other thing is the frosted plastic. It'll go underneath as one piece. So I got to take measurements now again with using this thinner acrylic on top. And yeah, it's not going to look too bad. You can kind of see how it kind of looks with well, a lot of reflection. But the frosted parts, it's not going to look too bad. So I'm going to do, what I'm going to do next is try to do this before I head out. I'm going to try to just put some decorative things on the acrylic, on the frosted acrylic, to kind of make it look, I don't know, it would look tacky if I were to dress it up with a circuit board looking thing. Yeah, it might look too tacky. I'll do one cut without the without anything, just a plain cut on that acrylic, the frosted, and see how that looks without anything. So I figure if I tape the acrylic in, I can come back later and I could just put the acrylic back on and then do another cut for design. Anyway, so this will be the I'm thinking this will be the back of it. So parts are going to be, attached. I'm still working on the attachment. I got these stainless steel straws at the local. Actually, this one came from Walmart as well, but you can get them anywhere. And I don't like stainless steel straws, but in terms of an inexpensive source for stainless steel rods, yeah, this would work well. So what I'm thinking of doing is doing the 3D printed frame, and then making another frame around it that will have the rods for strength. Because after a while, the acrylic is heavy. So I'm thinking if I can just have the acrylic resting on some of these rods, and then connected to the connected to the actual structure, it's going to give some strength, I think. So support. So it'll be something like that, but it'll be nice greebled. So that's going to be another thing to do. All that weight is going to have these rods to give it some strength to keep it from bending. maybe I could put 2 rods, stagger them. So you have like 2, 1, and then 2, that kind of thing. So there's no flexing. Another option is that I can use acrylic, and I can laser cut some acrylic, and then have the acrylic take the weight, and then decorate the acrylic with 3D printed stuff and attach it to the acrylic. That might be even the better way to do, because the acrylic could come up, and being acrylic, it might look a little bit more high tech, supporting the acrylic boards as well. So I got to really think about that, because I got the frame already designed, and I don't want to make it look overly complicated, and So, anyways, let's see if I have an frosted acrylic that I can laser cut really fast, and put that over here. Let's see, get these things out of my way. The magnets. Yeah. So that's going to be fun. And of course, a lot of the stuff that I learned on doing stuff like this, I'll be able to apply it to the props and stuff. Give you an example. If I do the stand part, if I do the acrylic neck to these platforms, properly, that can lead into doing stands for vehicles, for example, flight stands. So there's some benefits on that. I'm trying to see what else I can show. It's been a week, and there's a lot of stuff that has occurred. But okay, let me go look for that acrylic and get started with it. Yeah, this is going to be a big piece. That reminds me, I'm going to have to go to Home Depot and buy some more of these. Oh, in fact, I should get some alcohol on my hands. Cut down on any hand grease. Because I don't want my fingerprints and stuff getting onto the acrylic. Especially this frosted acrylic. Any type of finger grease or something you have on your hands will leave a fingerprint, and then it's just time consuming to get all off. Okay. So I'm going to cut this one like this. It's got some more sticker on the bottom, and but the reason why I'm going to leave it like this is because when the laser goes through, it may flare up, especially when it goes across the grid of the what's called the crumb tray underneath, and that will every time it hits the metal of that, the laser will kind of flare up in that area, make some black scorches. So that will, make parts look kind of burned in certain areas. So I'll leave it on for protection. Okay. Okay, let's see. I gotta switch to machine I have on my network, and I got the machine refocused. All I have to do is just tell the machine to laser cut again. But it's always smart to do a quick little shot with the camera to kind of just see again where the boundaries are. Okay, that's it right there. So everything is ready to go. I can let's see, tell the thing only to do 2 times. Okay, just reduce the power a little bit. And I say go. I'm sending it to the machine right now. It's gonna take 3 minutes. And it's sending. I hear the machine kicking on. And it's never wise to leave these machines unattended. So you'll see me checking the machines out from time to time. Good. It is doing its thing. It is fun working with laser machines. But I tell you one thing. If I can get another machine, what I would do right now, I would see about getting a vacuum forming machine. Mostly because there's a lot of shapes that I can make. I can 3D print, and I can make it really, really smooth. But get them onto something that's crystal clear, very, 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 very transparent, it's difficult. I can laser etch on stuff, ideally if it's flat. I can do a little bit of a curve. It just depends on what it is. And then of course there's always the technique of you can etch something and then take it to an acrylic bending machine, basically a light source. It gets the acrylic hot, and then you can kind of just bend it. That would work. But for consistency, to go over and over and do the same thing over and over, and for more complex shapes, okay, like a his tank canopy, for example, where it has a slight curve going through, and then it has the sides. That's really difficult to do it with an acrylic that you're just bending. But it's easier to do something like that with a vacuum forming machine. So I have ideas about all sorts of ideas, and a lot of them just needs a way to soften plastic and melt it on top of the shape. And that's what a vacuum forming machine would be ideal for. So I am looking into that. I know you can always make one, and I should look into some videos about do-it-yourself machines and see what's that all about. I think some of them they use a heat gun to heat up the plastics, and then so it is possible, especially with some aluminum rails. You can make a machine that has perforated stuff. I suppose with the laser machines, can make tiles out of wood or some other material that will be easy to laser cut, but hard to melt. And so you could have the vacuum forming underneath, pulling all the stuff through a perforated surface. For example, a metal screen, and then you put the melted sheet, like styrene, for example, on top, and the vacuum, pulls everything through, and then it's just a matter of cutting, and laser cutters can do that. Can just cut the pieces all around. So that's what I'm thinking about. There are some machines out there. The Meiku vacuum former is somewhere around the $600 range. I assume the prices go up on the size of the materials. But let's say regular, loose leaf size, or an A4 size, because Meiku I think is from UK, so they will probably use like A4 size paper as the standard size. So that's a little bit larger than your 8.5 by 11 US loose leaf paper size. So I think that will probably be enough for almost all of the projects that I have in mind. I know people have made their super large vacuum forming machine. Okay, let me go get this and see how it comes out, how it came out. Okay, this looks like a good cut. So okay, now what do I want to do? Okay, the ideal setup is how I am going to actually do this. It'll have to be upside down. I want the frosted stuff to be underneath the crystal clear sheet. So in terms of the props and things like that, I do have some new props coming. What I want to do, I am going to have like some sort of clearance on prototype props. And I really need to clean up this place. And I need to put these prototype stuff up on the store because they're good. They're not junk pieces. And it'll be a shame to just simply throw away these good pieces. Oh, now this is thick. I don't know if the acrylics are going to be able, the binder clips are going to be able to stretch. Maybe get some bigger binder clips, I suppose. I think it's reaching the limits of those. Let's see, I got some binder clips, and I guess these are kind of like medium size compared to the smaller, in designer colors. What I need to get is some of these sizes in black, I think. Maybe about 8. Okay, since all I want to do is test, I don't need to be too precise with how the clips do this. Once I get that frame printed, things like this will be easier, I think, because I'll be able to just simply put the acrylic into the frame and then just arrange everything without having to align anything. I think I'll still try to use these smaller acrylics for the smaller binder clips for the meantime, because I'm going to flip this stuff around, and I don't want anything to go, falling. But it is quite thick. Yeah, this may not actually do. Yeah, really stretching it. Wow. It looks like the black ones stretch better than the silver ones. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Let me take that one out. See, the parts already want to come out. Huh? I guess not all the binder clips are the same. No, anyway. Okay, so for testing purposes, I'm gonna just keep this away from my eyes. I have a feeling at least that clip is going to just go bing, shoot right out. Okay, so this is the bottom. So it's about that thick. This is the top. Yeah, the acrylic does look a little bit better than being perfectly clear. You can see it there. It's still reflective. So let's see. Fits kind of nice. So yeah, I think this is going to work. I think this is going to work. So I got to do this 3 more times. Well, 2 more times. And then the, I don't know what you call it, the smaller boards that are 2x2. I got to do several of those. I don't know how many. I think maybe just 3. 2, no. Maybe like 2 per level. I don't know the rules of the game when it comes to 3D chess. But I've seen pictures where things are set up in a game, and they have at least 2 of those battle boards, confrontational boards, whatever they're called, on one level. So I got to look into that. And I am thinking, maybe I could put some sort of screw, like an Allen screw, for decorative purposes at the corners. But I'm thinking, like, if I were to make these rods that support these this additional board, maybe with a magnet, it could just attach to the screw. So we'll see. Anyways, I need to wrap it up now. I thank everyone for watching. I will go to Facebook and I'll see if there's any comments that are there, since I can't do the comments on the personal side. Okay, some cool. Some people are clicking like. That's good. With that said, I'll have to say, please, if you like the video, please click like and subscribe to the channel, because it will help the channel to grow. And with that said, thank you. With that said, I will start wrapping it up. And okay, so a quick little rundown. I got to make a run to the post office. I have some orders that are going out. You will either get, if you're still waiting for your shipment, you'll get an email notification. If you're one of the ones getting these the orders for today, either you'll get an email notification tonight or today during the day as I go out and do them. So we'll see, but definitely by tonight. The other thing is, yeah, like I said, I'm still working on these machines. I'm going to do another video where I'm just going to do hands-on and finally fix up this machine. Now that I got this tool that came in, It'll make things a little bit easier and better than simply using pliers. And what else? Oh yeah, and those boards and stuff that I was talking about to replace the wood. I gotta do a test, and I need to do the actual. It's got to be like a real world test. I have to do all of the holes and everything that the laser is going to cut through to do the test properly. And so that's where I am there. And I'm also doing some new beam type stuff, and I'm working on those. I have a bunch of them already printed, and I got a bunch of these small little bitty Allen screws to kind of join them together instead of glue. Okay, with that said, it's at the top of the hour now. Thank you for watching, everyone, and catch you next time. Okay, bye-bye.